Okay, so it's time for us to go ahead and get back into our coverage over the X-Men. And so, with us now being done with the hunt for Xavier, it now basically means for us to work our way up to the next big crossover. And so, we're going to start a new playlist with the idea of Wolverine and a six-part story arc known as the Great Escape. Now, The Great Escape is a very interesting storyline because it's just Wolverine going wild, but also like fighting against a lot of different heroes in the Marvel universe. So, getting into the first chapter of the storyline, we do pick up Wolverine issue number 133. We really do pick up well in space. In matter of fact, we pick up at this prison. Now, we're not really told at first, like, who built the prison and like what it's actually made for besides just being a regular old prison. We do see here that there is a character working her way out of the prison because she has the ability to possess other people. So at first, she had faked her death. And so when she did that, and you had a guard check in on her, she was then able to take over that guard's body, work her way over to a spacecraft, take over that person who knew how to pilot the actual spacecraft and get the heck out of there and make her way over to Earth. But now we do switch over to Earth. Now, when we do, we pick up with Wolverine and also Carol Danvers. Now, this right here for me is a callback. And the reason why, because for Wolverine and Carol Danvers, they're close buds. They go way back. But also because this storyline does connect with what's happening with Carol Danvers around this time in Marvel Comics. You see, when it came to Kurt Busiek and George Perez run on the Avengers, they had introduced the idea of Carol Danvers becoming an alcoholic. Now, she had officially left the team by this point in the timeline, but not because she was alcoholic. More the idea because she lied to the Avengers. You see, for Steve Rogers, he had brought her in because the powers of binary, I almost said binary, of binary that she had previously. But she did not inform the team that she had lost those abilities. And so when it came to a big battle for Steve, he asked Carol to go binary to help save the day, but she couldn't do it. And so once Steve had found out, he was kind of like, hey, you broke our trust. Now, she did kind of overreact and had just left the team completely. But that was the beginning part of her becoming an alcoholic. Now, you have the two characters, Wolverine and Carol Danvers, right now at this bar. But while you have our heroes at the bar, you didn't have the news come on, right? And the news is now reporting that there was a meeting going on with the UN about the idea of human and mutant relations. But here's the problem, though. You see, while having that meeting, another character had arrived, and that would be Powerhouse. Now, when it comes to Powerhouse, we learn here that she is a mutant, yes, but she has a huge hatred for humans. Now, for Powerhouse, she is a character that we're only talking about right now because she only appears 3 times in Marvel Comics. Because her first appearance was in Spider-Man issue number 15. This right here is her second appearance, and she does appear one more time in Marvel Comics, and she's never seen again. But for Powerhouse, she does have a huge hatred towards the human race. And so her main goal right now is just to go ahead and bring down the whole entire UN building. Now, Wolverine, he wants to go ahead and handle the situation right now because Powerhouse is giving a bad name for the entire mutant race. Now, for Wolverine, he was going to ask for the help of Carol Danvers, but didn't realize Homegirl is drunk at the moment. So honestly, she can't really help out. And so for Wolverine, he says, you know what? Go ahead, get a cab, and head home. But for Carol Danvers, she gets very upset by this because in her mindset, make it seem like Wolverine, like the Avengers, were trying to sideline her, that she's not good enough to help him handle this situation. And so for Logan, he does allow her to go ahead and carry him over to the UN building. But for him, he still wants to go ahead and handle Powerhouse on his own. So while you have Wolverine trying to do it Powerhouse, Carol Danvers is going crazy because she's right now just shooting her blast anywhere without even trying to aim at Powerhouse. And for Wolverine, that right there is a problem because that means she could possibly hit an innocent person or bring down the entire building on Wolverine and Powerhouse as well. But we now had to shift over to a different setting. Because let's not forget that there was this space alien girl who was able to escape from a prison in space and possess other people. Well, the person she had possessed last time to kind of help her pilot over to Earth, when she crashed on Earth, she was then found by two regular humans. And humans were all like, hey, what in the world is this spacecraft? One of them does get close enough to allow her to possess him now. But the rest of this chapter is really more of us just seeing Wolverine and Miss Marvel trying to work together to fight against, well, Powerhouse. And the battle does technically end on the note where you have Powerhouse take down Miss Marvel. And the reason why, because Homegirl's so drunk and so upset about what's currently happening in her life that you have Powerhouse being able to walk up to her and knock her out. You then have Wolverine take out Powerhouse, and it does seem like, okay, you know what, cool, the day is saved. Let's go ahead and get everyone out of here. My friend right now does need some medical help. But while you have Wolverine trying to do that, well, a Jeep appears out of nowhere. And that Jeep does crash near Wolverine. Now, for Logan, he's doing his job as a hero to make sure the driver is okay. Except when Wolverine goes over the door to see if the driver is okay, that driver is still being possessed by our new character who now goes out of their way to possess Wolverine. And so when you have Carol Danvers walk over to see if Logan is okay, well, come to find out, yes, Logan has now been possessed. Logan's now pure evil, I guess. And this leads into the next chapter where it's Wolverine fighting against a bunch of different heroes. And so now this leads into Wolverine just attacking Carol Danvers. Like he's just going ham on her. But again, for Wolverine, he's not really in control at the moment. Right now, this new mysterious character is in control of him right now at the moment. But while you have Wolverine trying to, well, he does bring down Carol Danvers, you did have some police officers try to step in as well. But as the battle continues on, the big leads come in. And I'm talking about the Avengers. Now we have Firestar, Justice, and also Vision here. Now for me personally, this is still a good team to use as a way to bring down Wolverine. But the thing is, for the Avengers, they only came here because they had heard that things were popping off at the UN building. They also heard that Carol Danvers and Wolverine had things handled, and technically that was true. But when they got here, they see Carol right now on the ground and Wolverine going crazy. Now, for Wolverine, he's trying his best to gain control of his body again so they can warn the Avengers about what's going on with him. But unfortunately, he's not really able to, and so you have Wolverine defeat the Avengers. Now, Wolverine does get hit by a car, right? And so the driver of the car does get very upset with the idea what Wolverine did to his vehicle. But then you have Wolverine try to attack the driver. Now, luckily for Wolverine, Moon Knight arrives. Now, this battle right here is so short-lived, I'm kind of mad the idea they put Moon Knight in the book to only have him around for like 1 to 2 pages, and that is it. But once you have Wolverine being able to get rid of Moon Knight, US Agent and Black Widow arrive as well. Now for US Agent, this dude wants to go ahead and bring down Wolverine like Wolverine is some kind of criminal. Now for Black Widow, she has huge connections to Wolverine. And so with those connections, it's kind of like, no, I know Wolverine. There must be something wrong with him. There's no way he'll go out of his way to attack innocent people like this. There's something wrong with him. But you didn't have Wolverine arrive and being able to bring down all 3 characters just like that. But then you have another character arrive, and this will be Solo. Now for Solo, he is a character that we have not really talked a lot about in the past. And the reason why, well, for me personally, he's more like the 90s version of the Punisher. There's a guy out there, anti-hero, who truly believes the only way to bring down bad guys is to go ahead and kill them off. But once you do have Logan being able to deal with Solo, you did have another character arrive. And that would be Cardiac. Now, I'm not going to sit down and try my best to explain who Cardiac is because honestly, we already have so many different characters just popping up left and right in this one particular storyline. But for Wolverine, he is also able to deal with Cardiac as well. Now, Cardiac is not the last hero to arrive to this battle. Matter of fact, we get 3 more characters. 2 of those characters are part of the, sorry, scratch that. You have 3 members of the New Warriors there right now trying to bring down Wolverine alongside with the help of Black Cat as well. Like, we are pulling in all these random characters to hopefully find a way to bring down Wolverine. But unfortunately, you have Wolverine still being able to bring down Black Cat and also the New Warriors as well. Like, he's taking down all these different heroes. And we're still not done yet because you now have the Human Torch arrive as well. Now, for the Human Torch to be here, you would kind of think like we'll get some kind of battle between Wolverine and Human Torch that could last a few pages. No. Only 2 pages, and you have Wolverine being able to bring down the Human Torch just like that and move on with his day. Now, this now begins the process of us learning, like, who is this mysterious lady who has possessed the body of Wolverine? And so we learn here that for our mysterious character, she tells Wolverine how she heard about him. And she said, listen, I heard about the X-Men. They're well known across the universe, but I heard about you because you have one line. And the line is, you're the best at what I do. That line right there, I took that line to heart and believed that you were the best person for the job. Now, she also tells us that she had no choice but to escape from that prison. You see, her and a few other people who also come from different planets across the universe, they're all being held against their will. But the problem is that right now, those different species, they might go extinct very soon if they're not able to leave that prison. And so her job is to use Wolverine as a way to help everyone escape that prison. Now, we do learn who has gone out of their way to, collect all these different people from different planets. We learn that it is the Collector, but he's not very happy about the idea of our mysterious character being able to get away and head over to Earth. And so his main goal right now is to bring her down. And so as we get into Wolverine issue number 135, we're now picking up Wolverine traveling across the universe over to the prison world. Now, we do learn here what is the name of the young woman who had taken over the body of Wolverine. We learn her name is Arya. So when it comes to Arya, it is her right now trying to make sure that Wolverine is focused for this mission. Now, when they do travel across the universe and arrive at the prison world, for Wolverine, he cannot believe what he is currently seeing at the moment. But this now begins the process of Wolverine trying to free some prisoners. Now, for the Collector, is also him being informed that Arya is on her way back over to the prison world, but also she had brought a superhero from Earth. Now, for the Collector, he met a few heroes from Earth over the years, but now he knows he has to deal with another one at the moment. But once we do switch back over to Wolverine, we do learn that for Logan, the dude is on his own at the moment. And the reason why, because, well, as soon as their spacecraft had aboard the prison world, Arya left. He has no idea where she went to, but for Wolverine, he continues on without her. Now, the problem is for Wolverine, he has no idea where to go or how to accomplish this mission. But technically, the dude has no choice right now but to continue to fight on his own for this moment. Now, for the Collector, he already knows that the basic guards won't really be able to bring down Wolverine. And so you have the Collector bring in Torgo. And when it comes to Torgo, his main mission right now is to bring down Wolverine. Now, as he does leave the room, we also learn here for the Collector, he has somebody else as a prisoner, really a group of characters as prisoners, and that would be the Starjammers. And so the Starjammers, once they had heard that one of the X-Men right now is on the prison world, but also the possibility it could be Wolverine, for Corsair, he's kind of like, this battle may go one way or another. Now, we do see here for Wolverine, he was able to regroup with Arya. We learn here that for Arya, she had taken over the body of one of the guards who work on the prison world. Except for Wolverine, he's now being told to pretend to be a prisoner. And so while you have Arya right now trying to put cuffs on Wolverine, well, that is when our two characters are now confronted by Torgo. And it does look like Torgo is not really a happy character at the moment. Now, the fourth chapter does kind of go in a different direction. And what I mean by that is you have Wolverine being able to sit down with Torgo and have a conversation. Now, for Torgo, what he wants Wolverine to understand is that this is not a prison world. That, yes, you do have people here, but they're not really prisoners. That what the Collector is trying to do is something great and beautiful. Now, we're not really told here just yet, but is Torgo saying, guys, or Wolverine, listen, they're not prisoners. They actually love it here. And matter of fact, when it comes to Arya, she's more troubled than good. So honestly, you cannot believe her. Now, for Wolverine, he's having a hard time believing Torgo because for Wolverine, he did share his body with Arya, getting a chance to kind of know her a tad bit better. But for Torgo, he's saying, listen, I need you right now to go in that room right there and spend some time with the prisoners because once you do that, you'll then understand they're not really prisoners here. That matter of fact, they want to be here. We're doing great things for them. But now we have to switch over to this electric alien being able to make their way back over to the prison world. Now, the assistant we saw earlier that works for the Collector, they go out of their way to meet up with this electric alien to get information about another quadrant in the universe. And so once you do have the two characters being able to communicate with one another, the security guards who are watching the cameras kind of realize the Collector assistant is very upset about something, like something bad is about to come very soon. But now we switch over to Wolverine and also Torgo again. And this conversation is really more Torgo trying to explain his past. The idea that he was a prisoner to the Skrull Empire. But thanks to him and also the Fantastic Four, they were able to work together to bring down the Skrulls to allow him and a few other people who were prisoners freedom. Now, for Wolverine, what he's hearing from this story is that Torgo is trying to say that the reason why this is not a prison world because where he was at with the Skrulls were a whole lot worse. It was actually a prison. This right here not a prison at all because people are not fighting against their will. People are not gagged or being bound. People are not being tortured day in and day out. That these prisoners have better lives here with us. Now again, is Torgo not really trying to give Wolverine all the information he needs to understand what's truly going on here. But you didn't have Torgo leave, allowing Wolverine to spend some time with the prisoners, except things go south very quickly here. Because you didn't have the prisoners begin to beat down on Wolverine. Now, for Wolverine, he's trying his best to hold on, but you have the prisoners beat down on Wolverine because we kind of get the idea at first because he is a human and they don't like humans apparently. And so they begin to beat down on Wolverine left and right. And so we then switch over to Arya and we see her at the moment right now being put back into her original body. Now, once you do have a scientist trying to complete that process, we do see another character there. And that would be Space Parasite. Now, for Space Parasite, he's a character that we had talked about over in my Hulk videos. For Space Parasite, he comes from a world that was completely peaceful until they were attacked by one of their neighboring planets. Now, for Space Parasite, to protect his home world, he had used a solar chamber to give himself some powers. And so once he had those powers, he was then able to protect his home world. The problem was that with his new powers, he had now this hunger for battle, hunger for war, hunger for blood. And so he left his home world, going across the universe to find different people to battle against, like the Hulk. But right now we see him currently on Prison World. But getting back over to Wolverine, we now see him having a conversation with the other prisoners. Now, these prisoners, at first, they wanted to attack Wolverine, but now they realize who he is, that he's part of the X-Men. And again, for the X-Men, they're well known across the universe. And so for Wolverine being an X-Men, they now believe that he could possibly help them escape. Now, we also learn here that one of the prisoners was actually a survivor in the Dark Phoenix saga, because in the Dark Phoenix saga, we had saw Jean Grey, not really Jean Grey, go ahead and wipe out an entire planet. And apparently one of these aliens is a survivor of that world that got wiped out. But either way, it's Wolverine now saying like, listen, I'm here to help out, but I need all you guys' help if we're going to be able to escape from this prison world. Now, earlier we had saw one of the collector assistant get information from that electric-like alien, and now he's being told what she had learned. And apparently, he's kind of wondering if the shields on the prison world will be able to protect the entire planet. But either way, something big is coming very soon. But to close on this chapter, we now switch over to the Star Jammers. And for the Star Jammers, they're kind of like, okay, you know what? We now know what the collector is trying to do here. And again, we still have no idea what it is just yet. But for the Star Jammers, they're kind of like, cool. If Wolverine does go out of his way to battle against the collector and actually defeat the collector, that'll be a major problem. So no, we now got to stop Wolverine before Wolverine does pull off his great escape. And so, as we get into the fifth chapter, what we're seeing at the moment right now is you have Corsair and the Starjammers working with Torgo to hopefully find Wolverine. But the problem is that they can't find Wolverine anywhere. Dude had already snuck out the holding cells and moved on somewhere else. Now, for Corsair, he knows the X-Men. He knows Wolverine. He's kind of like, knowing Wolverine right now, he's most likely working his way over to Arya because right now they're working together. And so you have Torgo kind of take a step back and allow Corsair to be in charge to hopefully help him to find Wolverine. And the thing is, Corsair is correct here because for Wolverine, he did work his way over to where Arya is at. And so when it comes to Arya, she's really happy about the idea of seeing Wolverine and him going out of his way to take down all the different guards. Now, we also learn here that Arya can no longer use her powers at the moment because they put a device on her that basically stops her from using her abilities when she needs to. So right now, it all comes down to Wolverine to save the day. But you didn't have the two characters being able to escape from the cell and work their way over to the power system for the entire prison world. Now, while they're leaving, you didn't have Torgo and also Corsair appear, and they realized that Corsair was correct, that Wolverine did go out of his way to save Arya, but the problem is that now they're no longer here. Now, for Corsair, he now knows when it comes to Wolverine and also Arya that most likely they're trying to free the people who are supposedly prisoners on Prison World. If that's the case right now, they're heading over to the power system. And so you have Corsair and also Torgo run over there as well to hopefully stop Wolverine from pulling this off. But when you do have Wolverine and Arya being able to make it over to the main power grid, it's now Wolverine just trying his best to shut it down. But the problem is that while trying to do that, he's then confronted by this rock-like creature. Now, for Wolverine, we have to remember, by this point in Marvel's timeline, he still does not have the adamantium on his bones anymore. So just good old bone claws, and those bone claws don't really work on a rock-like creature like this one right here. And so you have Wolverine struggling, but you have Wolverine fight, go ahead and being able to have the creature smash the main power grid, shut everything down, and you didn't have the creature fall to its supposed death. Most likely, it probably survived. But thanks to Wolverine's battle, the power grid is shut down now. Now, with that happening, all the prisoners are free. But you did have Wolverine being able to make it over to the hangar to hopefully escape Prison World. The problem is that once he does make it there, he's then confronted by Corsair. Now for Corsair, it's him telling Wolverine that he had just doomed them all. And the reason why Corsair is saying that is because for Wolverine, he has no idea that when it came to the Collector, he was not just going out of his way to collect random people from different planets. No, those different people belong to different species that were going extinct. He wanted to make sure they did not go completely extinct at all. He wanted to protect them. And so he brought them over here to Prison World. But also the main power grid was making sure that this world was undetectable. But with Wolverine bringing the whole place down, of course now the Collector's enemy will go out of his way to find this home world. But the problem is that enemy has already found them. And so it's Corsair telling Wolverine, you had just doomed us all because look outside. And when he does, we see Galactus. And of course, for Homeboy right now, he came here for some dinner. And so this leads into the final chapter where you have Wolverine realize that he has truly messed up, that this right here is his fault, but also Arya's as well too, because Homegirl did not know everything, but also neither did Logan. But you didn't have Torgo appear. And when it comes to Torgo, he does tell Wolverine, go ahead and leave because you can't help out. This is Galactus. Like, yes, I know you heard the stories of how the Fantastic Four has stopped Galactus. It ain't gonna work. So our goal right now is to hold him off long enough to allow some people the chance to actually escape. Now, while you have Torgo walk away, Wolverine does walk over to the Starjammer spacecraft, and he does find this young boy. Now, this young boy cannot find his dad. His dad right now is lost in the chaos somewhere. You have folks just running for their lives and fighting against one another. And so you have Wolverine take the young boy and give him over to the Starjammers. And for Logan, he's like, you know what? I gotta help out. And so he leaves. Now for Arya, all she can do right now is watch the chaos that her and Logan had created, because she had no idea that her plan would lead to the idea of Galactus coming and trying to destroy this entire world, or really consume it. And so when it comes to Galactus being there, she realized that she had made a mistake. Now for the Collector, he's like, look at what you did. All I was trying to do was protect your people, protect all these different species that come from all the different parts of the universe. And now, thanks to you, they're all going to die because of your actions. And now Galactus is here to consume us all. And so you have the Collector push her off his spacecraft and he leaves. But once you do have Wolverine and Torgo being able to regroup with one another, for Torgo, he does have a plan here. His plan right now is to have a team go out there to distract Galactus so the other team will be able to sneak up on Galactus and destroy the elemental converter, what Galactus used as a way to consume planets. And so once that's gone right there, for the time being, it should allow Torgo and his crew to help everyone get off the prison world. And so you have Wolverine, Arya, and Torgo go through the plan. Now, for Wolverine, his main goal is to be the attacker, the one to destroy the actual converter. But when it comes to Arya, her plan right now is to mind control Galactus, to buy Logan some time to hopefully get rid of the converter. Except when she does try to take over his mind, unfortunately, he kicks her out of his body and then destroys the spacecraft that her and Torgo were in. And so now at first we're kind of left to believe they're dead. Now for Logan, while he's trying to strike the elemental converter, his claws are bone claws. They're not really able to break through. So right now for Logan, it does seem like all hope is lost. But this kind of leads into the sad ending of this storyline, because once you do have Torgo bring Arya over to Logan, you then have Logan and Arya be teleported over to the Starjammer spacecraft. Now, here's the problem though. Torgo stays behind, because his main goal right now is to help out with this situation, to hopefully save lives. But then as you have Wolverine, the Starjammers, as they're flying away, the world is consumed by Galactus. Torgo is most likely dead at the moment. But on top of that, for Arya, even though Logan was able to get her over to a doctor, she dies as well. And so for Logan, all of this is his fault. Arya's dead. Torgo is dead. The entire prison world has been consumed. Thousands of lives have been killed off. Now for Logan, he is then dropped off back on Earth by the Starjammers. And the book ends on the note where we do see Wolverine right now having a conversation with Carol Danvers to apologize for what he had did at the beginning of the storyline when Arya had taken over his body. Now for me personally, she should also apologize as well, because Homegirl was going wild in that first battle scene. But yeah, the book does end on that note right there.